Today we're going to be doing another plan with me, recipe plan with me. And for this one, we're going to be doing my monster mash. This recipe is loosely based off of a recipe I found on the internet, and I love it so much. It's not necessarily a rated 10. It is rated pretty highly, but it changes because I put so many different things in it. And the reason why I'm keeping it in my recipe planner is because I've made it so many different ways, and it always comes out at least an 8 or higher, depending on how I wing it. This is, I think this is an Australian blog, Recipe 10 Eats, I'm not sure. I think he said that he's Aussie in here. Anyhow, there's just a few base ingredients that I believe are essential, and then from there you can skew it any way you want and get rid of that leftover cucumber, those leftover olives, the leftover bell pepper, whatever you have in your fridge. I've thrown it in here, and it never fails to be amazing and so easy because it is one pot, which I think all the recipes I've done are one pot recipes. So I'll have this linked in the description below, and you can follow it per their instructions exactly, which I recommend doing. But I've done all kinds of stuff. I've dumped half a can of pumpkin puree inside, and I've done all kinds of manipulating to basically just empty out my fridge and pantry of items that I've been looking at for a long time, and it always tastes really good. The main ingredients that I think are essential obviously are the pound of, I always have these following ingredients: the pound of beef, the tomato paste, the cumin, and the rice, and the beef broth. Everything else I've changed. They've got 2 cups of frozen veggies, a large handful of spinach, which I've never done, and different seasonings. I've swung this the Puerto Rican way, and I've added cilantro and lime and chili powder, or I've done this more an Italian vibe where I've used Italian seasonings and garlic and onion and things like that. So I really love how versatile this recipe is, and it just helps me use up any of the produce that's still left in my fridge by the end of the week that I hadn't used. So I call it monster mash because my husband is a power lifter, and he follows this one guy on the internet who has a meal called monster mash, and it includes beef and rice and everything in one pot. It's not necessarily this recipe, but because I change it so much and it's kind of a mash of everything, that's what I've called it, and that's what we know it as, is monster mash. The first thing I'm going to do, from this sticker book that doesn't seem to have a title, I'm going to take these long sticker strips and put them here and here, just because they're black and white and in front of me, and I feel like using them. I'm going to cover the word ingredients. And I feel like this is almost exactly the same size, so I will use this as well to cover the word preparation, and then maybe add some kind of sticker here just to fill in the space. I do need to wipe this out because the sticker I'm going to use is clear on the one end. And from the food sticker book, I'm going to add some carrots, because I've added carrots to this before and it was magical. I'm going to title this Monster Mash. I'm going to use my alphabet sticker book, and I think I'm going to use red. Just pop these stickers off. My baby's waking up, so I'm rushing. Monster mash is a little crooked, but I think the word mash looks cute crooked because, well, I'm just gonna say it is because I can't change it now. I'm going to go with that unknown, hi sweetheart, sticker book. He's okay. Hi baby, yeah. And I'm gonna use these yellow dots to write down the ingredients. There are 13 ingredients that I'm writing. I'm not writing down cayenne pepper or baby spinach. I really don't need to write down most of the ingredients because I loosely follow it nearly every time. But I am just going to go ahead and lay down my dots. Not following these lines so much as I am. Yeah, that's what he did, huh?
That's how you feel? That's how you really feel?
And now that I've got my recipe dots, I'm just going to write in the ingredients. That's what I was wondering, what made him so hyper.
Huh?
I was wondering what made him so hyper.
Yeah, he's running around them letters.
You got them letters? You learned in letters?
You don't need another one of these up? I just asked you, didn't I? You want me to close this?
No, it's okay. I'm not going to be very long. So I'm just going to write down these ingredients and get back to you. Got a little squished up right here, but that's all right. I decided to write the amounts in each of the circles. And if you look in the description, I will put an asterisk by the ingredients that I keep as the base, and everything else I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants. Because you really can just do whatever you want with this. Dada was spinning? I'm going to continue on with the instructions here. And I'm just going to use the yellow dots still, just to make it balanced. But I'm going to summarize it quite a lot. I don't really need to know the details of how to make this. But I will have the recipe linked below for those of you that need the whole thing. I used to never wing it. And it took me several years of following recipes to the T. If it told me to add salt and pepper to my liking, I wouldn't even know how much to add. I was so clueless. But I'm telling you, after you've followed recipes for several years, in my case anyway, it just became easier to be able to understand flavor profiles and to wing it. And so I'm going to talk about some different kinds of spins you can do on this recipe. And I understand if you're not comfortable doing different spins, but that's why I like this recipe so much, because I really feel like you can mess up, but it won't be messed up at all. Those are my directions. It's pretty basic. I wanted to add down here, the reason why I shortened this so much is because I wanted to add different spins that you could do. I was just putting my son to sleep, and I had a bunch of ideas for different takes that you could use for this. Using the same sticker font, just for consistency, I'm going to write the word, well, I'm not going to write, I'm going to stick some stickers down. And to indicate all of these different spins, I'm going to use my food book. And the first spin we're going to take is the Spanish food spin, because my husband is half Puerto Rican and half Dominican, and I did this recipe sort of in a with a Spanish flair, and he quite liked that. Where are my limes? I had these limes I used in that last recipe Plan With Me, and that's what I'm going to use for this one. So this spin will be, I'm just going to say Puerto Rican. That would include things like I added lime, chili powder, cilantro, green olives, bell pepper, coriander, etc. The next spin we are going to take on this will be probably the Italian spin. Well, this looks like a caprese salad with basil, mozzarella, and tomato. So I'm just going to use that to indicate the Italian spin. Even though that's not what I put in there necessarily. So we're going to use Italian herbs and a lot of garlic, maybe even some Italian sausage. And then the next spin we can take is a Mexican spin, or like a Tex-Mex. And I'll just use that taco here. And then you can add a taco seasoning packet. You could even use the boxed rice, the Mexican rice. You guys seen those by like Zatarain's or something? You can use a can of diced tomatoes. Or Rotel. And another take I was thinking of, it's like an all-American meatloaf slash sloppy joe. Oh, I wonder if they've got a hamburger. A pretty big looking, I may have to cut that. Meatloaf slash sloppy joe. And you'll add ketchup, brown sugar, or even barbecue sauce. You could do that. Mustard, etc. There's the Pioneer Woman has a really great sloppy joe recipe, so you could even look at her recipe and then see what you could add to this dish right here. And then the other one I had in mind was we're going to use a fortune cookie to indicate the Asian flair. Sauce or soy sauce, ginger, etc. This dish can go so many different ways, and I had so many ideas when I was laying in bed just now. And my last idea, was a cowboy. Let's see if I've got anything that's country western here. I cut off a piece of corn, and we're gonna do a cowboy with that Hillshire smoked sausage, or corn and a can of beans. Give it a little country western flair. There's just so many different ways that you could swing this, and if you've got ideas, leave them in the comments so that other people can get some ideas too. And you could also just follow the recipe above and that's more of like a general I've made it almost exactly like the recipe calls for, pretty close to anyway, and it's still really good. But there's just so many different things that you can do by keeping basically the beef broth, the beef. You could even do ground chicken or ground turkey, whatever you want. And the tomato paste I think is important because it gives that umami, that depth that you need. And the cumin I think is necessary. I've even left the cumin in when I did the Italian flair. The cumin just adds a nice bit of flavor that I feel like it really helps it. So I'm going to maybe leave a space here so I can think of, or if one of you guys have a really good idea, I'll add it down below here. And I want to cover up a lot of this because it does not applicable. So I'm gonna take a gander at my stickers here and see what else I can come up with. And it's always good to serve it with a side salad, so let's just add a side salad down here since you know what, I wanted to layer. Remember when I put the salt down my last time and I wanted to layer it? Let me look for a cute sticker to layer this with. You know, these are too long. They won't fit here. So I need something that's a bit more narrow, and I don't want to cover serve with because that's what I'm gonna put the salad. Uh-oh, is my son waking up? I really don't have very many options if I'm not gonna cover up the words serve with. So I think I'm just gonna, should I put this over? I don't know what I'm gonna do up here. I could just get a big colorful box and then use the gold foil words that say, in my rainbow big sticker book, they gave me an entire sheet that's not stickers, it's just paper. So I'm just gonna glue this in because I can't believe they did that to me. Got a defective book over here, but that's okay. Nothing some glue can't fix. And I was contemplating putting one of these stickers on there. Does it look kind of lonely there? It's not easy to see, is it? Because I've got some gold foil. I always think of you, Stephanie, now when I use gold foil. I'm just gonna stick some stuff down haphazardly, why not? Made with love. Temperature. Just gonna write simmer on low. And I'm gonna add some stickers onto that. Red area just to give it give it a little something. Let's give this a thumbs up. These stickers I'm pulling are, I should add a vegetable here. These stickers I'm pulling are just from that packet. I'll have it linked below. I got mine on Amazon, but you can probably find it at Michael's and use your 40% off coupon for a better price. From the food sticker book, I'm just going to add this artichoke. Give it a thumbs up. And I was going to write notes down here. With that sticker book, they had a gold foil note. And I will write it freezes well. I don't know if I want to do anything here, if it's going to be overkill. Because I have a vegetable up here in the middle, I want to add one down here, even though I've got a salad. There's so many options. This is not straight, it's making me crazy. I'm not even sure that I'm crazy about it. Maybe I'll just center it here because I've got nothing else better to do with it. And let's just stick it right in the center. There. Just get rid of him. And then I'll put a random tomato right here. It's just because I've got a vegetable and a vegetable, and I want another vegetable. So there are my vegetables. I think that's all I'm gonna do. I'm getting a little crazy here. I like all the colors I've got from the different food icons. And I do like the gold foil. It gives it a touch of fun. I'm not too fond of how I can't see Eat Well, Be Happy unless it's get some light. Otherwise it looks, you know, kind of muddy because of those dots, but I'm over it. And that'll be my recipe plan with me for my monster mash. And if you've got any other ideas for a spin this dish could take, let me know below and I will add it down here in my notes. And I hope that you enjoyed it, and I really do hope that you try this recipe. If not any of the spin-offs, but the original one, because it really is so easy to use up things that are about to go bad in your freezer, pantry, or refrigerator. And I just think that it's a great versatile recipe that will help save your food waste. And the kids like it. My kids do anyway. My husband likes it also. It's very filling. And I like to make large batches and keep it in the freezer. And that way I've always got something to grab if I'm feeling super pregnant that day and I didn't get up and make any food. I could just pull one of these out of the freezer and we're good to go. Alright, so I'll see you guys in my next video, whatever that is going to be, I don't really know. And I will talk to you then.